Welcome to Yod Yoga Experience, where I'll be sharing my personal experiences and insights, the notes that I have collected throughout my yoga teacher training, but most importantly throughout my path of a truth seeker for the past almost a year already, and what I've learned, what I've experienced, and what I think is the truth. So the first session is called The Truth About the Truth. And let me share with you some of the notes. Why Yod Yoga, first of all? Yod means the finger of God in astrology. It points to something fated, unavoidable, transformative, as if the God is telling you, yeah, you do that. That is your mission. I happen to have that in my birth chart, by the way. In Hebrew, Yod is also the smallest letter, the dot that starts everything. That dot is the root, the beginning of the journey, not the end. Yod Yoga starts at the dot, at the root chakra, where your being first takes form. It's not about escaping upward. It's about arriving fully here, in your body, in your life. The root chakra is where your incarnation began, the first energetic landing. This is where karma enters the body. The family you were born into, the land beneath your feet, the stories you inherited. That's why we begin here, not to heal the past, but to become conscious of how it shapes our now. Without grounding, any spiritual practice can become a way to just bypass the real work. Yod Yoga is about authenticity, truth, presence, and becoming whole again. Your root is connected to your survival instinct, your essence of safety, and your right to exist. Many people feel anxious or lost because they are ungrounded, disconnected from the basic sense of support. Yod Yoga is about remembering what supports you, literally and energetically. The root is not just physical, it's emotional, ancestral, and energetic. When we return to the root, we return to the moment before the conditioning began. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to come back to where your power started. The work is subtle, but deep. Sometimes shaking, sometimes quiet, always honest. Yod Yoga begins with a choice to land, to feel, to stop running. So we begin here at the root, not because it's easy, but because it's real. AUM and vibrational roots. Everything in existence is vibration. In yoga, the most foundational vibration is AUM. AUM is made of three parts. A, followed by the silence. AUM. Each part vibrates through different areas, the belly, the chest, the head. When you chant AUM, you're not just making a sound. You're turning. It's kind of a tuning of your system. It activates the vagus nerve, helping regulate stress, digestion, rest. The root chakra responds directly to vibration. It's how we shake off fear and rewire safety. AUM grounds you into the present moment, especially when anxiety is high. You don't need a strong voice. You don't need to chant out loud. Humming works too, and the chanting brings your attention from your mind into your body, especially your center. You can use AUM as a daily reset, before meditation, before sleep, even before hard conversations. It's not about being spiritual, though. It's about calming your nervous system with your own breath. A lot of things that we're going to be talking about here is the blend of the layers of yogic philosophy, psychology, even quantum physics sometimes. By the way, when we chant together, our rhythms sync. That's why chanting can feel so powerful in group. This isn't about belief. It's about resonance. Your body already knows that language. AUM is like internal message. It vibrates you back into alignment. Root work is sound work. Our fears, habits, and stress patterns have frequency. Om helps to shake off what doesn't belong and return to what's real. You can chant Om standing, seated, lying down, whatever helps you stay connected. Even 1 minute of chanting or humming can shift how your whole body feels. It's not just a sound, it's an anchor, a doorway, a return to the root. The 4 yogic paths begin at the root. In classical yoga, there are 4 main paths to spiritual growth. Bhakti yoga, devotion; Jnana yoga, wisdom; Karma yoga, action; and Raja yoga, discipline. What you call yoga, by the way, the physical part of it, it's part of the Raja yoga. It's this discipline of the body. People often ask, which one is right for me? But the truth is, all of them need grounding first. Without a stable foundation, even the highest wisdom becomes disconnected from reality. Let's break them down one by one, starting from the ground always. Bhakti yoga is the path of devotion, love for the divine, for others, for life. But devotion without grounding can turn into emotional dependency or spiritual bypassing. A grounded bhakti path means loving with open eyes, not blind surrender. It asks, can I feel my emotions and still stay in my body? Can I be devoted and still present? Jnana yoga is the path of wisdom. Study, reflection, self-inquiry, being inquisitive. But without grounding, it becomes just intellectual, a head trip, disconnected from the felt experience. A grounded jnana yogi is humble. They don't just know, they live the truth. Wisdom without presence is noise. But grounded inside becomes transformation. Karma yoga is the path of action. Selfless service, right work, right intention. But action without grounding leads to burnout, resentment, martyrdom, victim psychology. A grounded karma yogi knows their limits. They serve without losing themselves. Grounding gives their service roots. They act from love, not from lack. Raja yoga is the path of discipline, meditation, breath, structure, control of the senses. Without grounding, it becomes rigid, cold, and even punishing. But a rooted Raja yogi doesn't force silence. They create it inside through balance and steadiness. Karma is action, not punishment. Karma is not punishment. Karma means action, and every action has a ripple effect. It's not about judgment from the universe, but about natural cause and effect. When we move with intention, we shape our reality. That's karma. When we act from unconscious patterns, we keep repeating the same loops. That's also karma. You don't have bad karma because something hard happened. You're not broken. You're not being punished. You're just being shown something. Karma is how the body remembers what the mind forgets. The root chakra is important because it stores the physical memory of past actions and reactions. Trauma is karmic residue. It's energy that we have not yet digested. The goal isn't to erase karma, but to become conscious of it. When we bring awareness to our reactions, we start to repattern them. Every time you pause, breathe, and choose differently, you're shifting karma. Karma is deeply linked to identity, the roles we were given, the habits we inherited. Grounding allows us to witness those patterns instead of reacting from them. Yoga gives us space to say, wait, do I still want to act this way? It lets us break cycles, not through force, but through clarity and presence. You don't have to solve all your karma in one lifetime. But you can create a shift right now by showing up honestly in this moment. That's the authenticity that changes karma. Karma is not a prison, it's a teacher. And when we root down into it, we find power to choose. Shatkarma, cleansing the channels. Shatkarma is about cleansing practices that support both the body and the mind. The word Shat means 6 and Karma means action. So 6 main ways to purify. In this session, we'll focus on the 2 most accessible, breathwork and eye focus. The first one is called Anulom Vilom, or alternate nostril breathing. This breath technique balances the left and right energy channels. We'll talk about those also, called Ida and Pingala. It calms the mind, helps regulate emotions, and it supports deeper focus. It also directly supports the root chakra by helping the nervous system to feel safe. Try it like this. Use your fingers to close one nostril, inhale through the other, switch and exhale. Then inhale through the side you just exhaled from, switch again and exhale. So just to demonstrate it. And again, and again. Continue like this slowly with soft awareness. Let breath be your anchor. The second practice is Trataka, candle gazing. You sit so still, soft. You soften your gaze. And look at the flame without blinking. Try not to blink. It could be a candle. It could be any source of the flame that recommended it to be something that's not moving but is still. So do it in some environment where there is no wind or something. It helps cleanse the eyes, but more importantly, it basically stills the inner noise. You look at that flame and you try to focus on that flame. We'll have some of those practices maybe also later on. Both of these practices are about removing clutter, physical, mental, energetic. This is a practice of mental purification. It teaches you to stay with the moment. You don't need fancy tools or rituals, just presence, breath, and willingness. Shatkarma is not about being clean. It's about creating space for clarity. When the inner channels are clear, energy can move where it needs to, especially down the road. So before we build strength or flexibility, we first clear the fog. That's the power of these practices. Hatha Yoga, energy mastery. Hatha, actually is pronounced Hatha, not Hatha. Hatha Yoga is the base for most physical yoga practices today. Ha means sun, Ta means moon. So Hatha is about balancing opposing energies. It's not just about stretching or doing postures. It's about mastering your internal energy system. In the root chakra, this means feeling strong, safe, steady, and alive in your body. Every posture we do in Hatha Yoga has a purpose. It affects your breath, your nervous system, your energy. Even standing still in Tadasana, the mountain pose, is a powerful root chakra practice. The more attention you bring to your feet, legs, hips, spine, the more grounded you become. Movement becomes a ritual, not a workout. Unfortunately, these days yoga is considered a workout, and also yoga instructors are unfortunately putting too much emphasis only on the physical part of it. When we move the body with awareness, we stimulate the nadis, the energy channels. The 2 main nadis, Ida, cooling, moon, left side, the brain, and Pingala, it's activating, it's sun, right side, and basically they cross at every chakra. Hatha yoga prepares these channels so energy can flow clearly through the root and upward. That's why we don't just jump straight to headstands or heart opening. We start with the ground. Root chakra work in Hatha includes standing postures, hip openers, balance poses, and slow transitions. It's not about how flexible you are, it's about how present you are. Mastery doesn't mean perfection, it means knowing your energy and directing it with awareness. You'll notice when your root is steady, everything else flows more easily. Breath, focus, emotions. Hatha also includes inner practices like bandhas, energy locks, mudras, hand gestures. One root-specific lock is Mula Bandha, a gentle lift of the pelvic floor to awaken energy at the base. These subtle techniques then turn movement into medicine. They make you aware of the space inside the body. That's the mastery, knowing how to move energy with care, not force. That's the heart of Hatha. Grounding is a prerequisite for truth. Let's talk about truth. Not the idea of it, but the feeling of it. You know always. You feel it always. Most of us want to live honestly, and to speak clearly, to be ourselves. But here is the thing, you can't speak your truth if you don't feel safe. Safety starts in the body. And the root chakra is the foundation of that safety. Grounding isn't just a spiritual word, it's a nervous system experience, not a voodoo. When your root is steady, your voice gets clearer. When it's shaky, your truth becomes filtered by fear, people-pleasing, protection. It becomes half-truth, which is not truth. Again, hiding and deception and so on. That's why we work with the root first, because authenticity grows from the ground up. Ever noticed how hard it is to say what you really mean when your body is tense? Or how easy it is to over-explain when you are unsure of yourself? Grounding gives you a different option: to respond, not react. To speak simply, to be fully in your body while sharing what matters. Truth is not just about what you say, it's about how present you are when you say it. And presence comes when you feel supported. That's the root chakra's job. We often try to access higher wisdom or communication, but if the root is unstable, it gets distorted. So grounding isn't just physical, it's emotional, relational, even spiritual. Grounding is what allows you to say yes when you mean yes, and no when you mean no. It's what lets you build and hold boundaries without building walls. It teaches you to pause, to listen inside, and to trust your inner timing. That's why in Yod Yoga, before we ask what's true for me, we ask, am I grounded? Authenticity is a felt sense. We talk a lot about authenticity, but what does it feel like? It's not a personality style. It's not about being loud or soft, bold or shy. Authenticity is not something you perform. It's something you embody. It's a felt sense in your nervous system that says, I'm safe to be who I am right now. When we are not grounded, authenticity gets replaced with strategy. Trying to be liked, trying to avoid rejection, trying to fit. All our education system is unfortunately all about trying to fit. I've been teaching communication almost 20 years already, and there, authenticity is the key. You don't need to speak clearly and have the best voice or whatever. You have to be authentic. But when the root chakra is balanced, we stop asking for permission to exist. We don't need to shape-shift or edit ourselves to feel worthy. We just arrive, raw, honest, connected. The body always knows when we are being real. It softens, it breathes, it opens. And it also knows when we are faking it, when we are in a role or pleasing or performing. You can feel it. The tension in your jaw, your belly, your shoulders. That's not truth. Root work is about reconnecting with the parts of you that we're told to hide. It's saying you are allowed, you are enough, and you are safe to be seen. Authenticity isn't always comfortable, but it's always powerful. It might mean crying, saying less, saying more, leaving, staying, owning your needs. You'll know you are being authentic not because it looks perfect, but because it feels honest. And the root chakra is where that honesty first lands, in the body. So if you're ever unsure, don't ask, what should I say? Ask, what am I really feeling in my body right now? What do I feel in the heart? That's authenticity, not an idea, but a grounded sensation that says, this is me, and I'm not abandoning myself to be accepted. Root chakra is the dance of opposites. The root chakra is where opposites live side by side. In yogic energy terms, two main forces meet here, Ida and Pingala. Ida is the moon channel, cooling, feminine, inward. Pingala is the sun channel, heating, masculine, outward. These two energies crisscross up the spine, touch every chakra, and their first intersection is at the root. The root isn't just solid, it's dynamic. It balances instinct with presence, stillness with movement. Think of your body, firm bones and flowing breath, both coexisting. Think of the earth, stable ground that also quakes, grows, shifts. The root teaches us safety isn't absence of emotion, it's stability within it. You don't have to become rigid to feel grounded. This chakra asks us to hold two things at once, fear and courage, survival and surrender, control and trust. When we honor both sides of these opposites, we find center. Too much sun energy and we burn out. Too much moon and we freeze or retreat. The root is where we learn to balance them. Not reject either, just bring harmony. This is why grounding practices include both structure and fluidity, strong legs and soft breath, clear boundaries and deep compassion. Even your emotions here come in opposites, anger and calm, anxiety and numbness, desire and fatigue. The root says, feel both, then choose. This is where choice begins. This is where freedom begins. Not from perfection, but from awareness. The more you allow this inner dance, the less afraid you are of contradiction. You become more human, not less human. So when life feels like it's pulling you in two directions, come back to the root. It's the only place strong enough to hold both. Duality at the root. At the root of your being, there is always a choice between two paths. No, not good or bad, but instinctual opposites. Fear versus trust, rigidity versus flow, control versus surrender. This is the nature of the root chakra. It holds the tension of duality. Not to resolve it, but to ground you deep enough to hold it. Most of us live pulled between these opposites. We want stability, but we also crave change. We want to feel safe, but also alive. Root work helps us stop choosing one over the other and starts basically holding both. It's the chakra of yes and. Yes, I'm scared and I'm ready. Yes, I want love and I need boundaries. When we are ungrounded, we swing between extremes: overworking, burnout, isolation, overstimulation. Duality creates emotional whiplash unless we learn to center ourselves. That's the invitation of the root, not to be unmoving, but to have a base deep enough to move from. Even nature shows this duality. The earth nourishes and destroys. It grounds us and it quakes. Real grounding means embracing that life contains both certainty and uncertainty. In relationships, this duality shows up as needing connection versus needing space, wanting security versus fearing stagnation. If your root is strong, you stop making yourself wrong for needing both. You stop splitting. You unify. This is also where the spiritual meets the primal. Your base instincts are not in conflict with your growth. They are the foundation of it. So instead of denying fear, desire, or anger, we ground them. We meet them without shame. The root is not about eliminating the dark to choose the light. It's about creating a stable place where both can live. From that place, your choices become clear, not reactive, but intentional. Duality doesn't go away, but your relationship with it matures. You stop asking which one is right, and instead ask, which one serves my truth right now? That's the power of root chakra work. Not escaping the tension of opposites, but becoming a vessel strong enough to hold them both. Zarathustra and Nietzsche, facing the shadow at the root. The root chakra is not just about grounding, but also where we hide what we don't want to feel. This includes fear, shame, guilt, rage, and raw desire. The root chakra is the realm of the shadow, not evil, just unconscious. It's where we bury parts of ourselves that we were told are too much or not enough. As Nietzsche said, one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. And that chaos lives in the root. If you don't face it, it runs your life silently. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche was about a prophet coming down from a mountain, right? To face the world, not escaping it. That's root chakra work. Not transcending darkness, but learning to walk with it honestly. Zarathustra, an ancient Persian prophet, sometimes referred to as Zoroaster also, taught that the truth must be lived, not preached. There was light, he said, and then lies, deception brought darkness. Zarathustra says you don't awaken by avoiding your wounds. You awaken by walking through them. Your root holds an ancestral memory. Generational stories, traumas, habits, all passed down. And this can become unconscious fears or reactions until you bring light to them. To do that, you don't need to analyze forever. You just need to slow down enough to feel what you've been avoiding. Shadow work isn't dramatic, it's subtle. It's when you notice yourself people-pleasing, apologizing for existing, clenching your jaw. It's asking, what part of me am I rejecting right now? And where in my body do I feel it? Nietzsche also said, you become who you are. That's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering and reclaiming. Your darkness is not the opposite of your light, it's the root of it. When you face your shadow at the root, you reclaim your energy. You stop running and you start choosing. The more you accept your primal side, the more whole you become. From there, growth becomes organic, not forced. So instead of asking, how do I get rid of this part of me? Ask, what if this part of is basically where my power begins? Karma connection begins here. The root chakra is where karma enters the body. Karma isn't just past lives, it's also your childhood, family patterns, habits, reactions. It's how your system learned to survive, how it wired itself to feel safe, even if that safety became limiting. Karma can be corrected through conscious choice. The correction begins in the root, in how you sit, breathe, walk, and speak when no one is watching. Every moment you pause instead of react, you shift karma. Every time you choose honesty instead of habit, you rewrite the pattern. And every time you root into your body instead of escaping, you open space for something new. Karma correction isn't about fixing, it's about becoming aware. Your triggers are clues. Your discomfort is data. You don't need to clear all your karma in one lifetime, but you do need to see where you are repeating something that no longer serves you. That's where awareness becomes power. Many of us live our lives on autopilot. We are not choosing, we are repeating. Grounding helps us to break this loop, basically. When you come back to your body, you come back to choice. When you come back to choice, you become conscious karma. Think of karma like a wave. You can't stop it, but you can learn to ride it. And when you ride it consciously, you don't drown, you transform. This is why root work matters so much. Without it, the same patterns keep happening. You get different situations with the same energy, addictions, loops, and so on and so on. But once you root, you don't need the universe to shout. You can hear the message in a whisper. So ask yourself now, what pattern am I done repeating? What truth am I ready to leave from instead? That's karma connection, not a fight, but a remembering. And it begins always with one grounded breath. You are the signal, not the noise. In a world that's constantly loud, fast, and demanding, it's easy to feel like you are just reacting to everything. But root chakra work reminds us you are not here to absorb all the noise, absorb all the information. You are here to become the signal. The signal is your essence, your core frequency, your true presence. The noise is everything that pulls you away from that. Fear, comparison, thank you to social media especially. Pressure, conditioning. When you are grounded, you become you begin to tell the difference between these two. And being the signal means you move from within, not from panic, not from people's expectations, but from your own rooted center. You speak less, but with more power. You act slower, but with more clarity. You no longer need to shout or explain, you resonate. Your energy becomes enough. The root chakra helps refine this by giving you a felt sense of what's real inside you. When you're turned to your root, you can feel when something's off. No story needed. It's like tuning an instrument. When your root is stable, your whole being gets tuned. And when you are in tune, the right people, timing, and actions start to align around you. The universe smiles to you. Most of us live surrounded by emotional and energetic noise, media, past trauma, future worries. Root practices like breathwork, stillness, walking barefoot, they help cut through that. Being that signal doesn't mean being perfect. It means being consistent in who you are, even when life is messy. It also means becoming a calming presence for others without losing your own center. You become someone who stabilizes a room just by breathing fully. That's not magic. That's rooted nervous system work. You learn to sit with discomfort instead of reacting, to pause before speaking, to choose your energy before you enter a space. The more you become the signal, the less drained you are. Because you're not leaking energy chasing things that don't resonate with you. You don't need to fight the noise. You just need to anchor your own frequency and live from there. Identity versus individuality. Identity is often inherited, such as gender, nationality, expectations. Individuality is discovered and is who a person truly is beneath those roles. The root chakra is where identity and individuality first meet and sometimes clash. When the root is weak, a person may cling to identity for a sense of belonging to certain groups, even if it doesn't fit. When the root is strong, a person may start questioning their identity and asking if it is truly them or just what they were told to be. Grounding gives a person the courage to challenge inherited labels and claim their own ground within their roots. Being grounded allows a person to hold both their roots and their individuality, not trying to fit into what others expect. A strong root allows a person to break cycles and keep worries sacred. The root work helps a person stop asking, "What will they think?" and start asking, "What do I know?" A person learns to stop performing and start listening, to notice when they shrink, please, or hide, and to choose differently. Grounding gives a person back their original yes and allows them to embody their individuality. And that's in the way they breathe, speak, choose. Root chakra healing is the foundation for true freedom. Not freedom from society, but freedom to be real inside it. As a person works through their roots, they should ask gently what parts of my identity were assigned and what parts are actually mine. Shadow work. Jung meets yoga. The root chakra is home to grounding and shadow. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is everything we've repressed, denied, or disowned. It's not bad, it's simply unaccepted, unconscious, or uncomfortable. Root work begins when we ask, what am I afraid to feel? As children, we learn to hide emotions, to feel safe or loved. That hiding becomes shadow. The body remembers what the mind forgets. The root holds those memories like energetic fossils: shame, fear, anger, need, grief. Yoga invites us to bring awareness into the body, while shadow work invites us to bring compassion to what we find there. When you clench your jaw, tighten your belly, or hold your breath, that's a shadow speaking through the body. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Shadow work is how we stop mistaking karmic patterns for destiny. It's not about fixing. It's about meeting the parts of you that haven't felt safe to exist. Root-based shadow work includes noticing what you resist, what makes you flinch, numb, or overreact. It also includes asking, where do I feel unworthy? Where do I pretend to be okay? You don't have to dive into trauma stories to do shadow work, though. You can start with breath, with grounding, with permission to feel without judgment. Yoga postures that activate the hips and legs often bring up emotion because they open the basement. Root chakra breathwork and hip openers create a safe space for shadows to rise without overwhelm. Jung taught that the shadow contains treasure, your authenticity, creativity. That power, they're all buried beneath what you were told to hide. When we hold space for the shadow, we become whole. Not perfect, but integrated. So next time discomfort arises in a pose, a breath, or a memory, pause, breathe, and say, there you are. I see you. You belong. That's yoga. That's shadow work. That's root healing. Mindfulness-based stress reduction therapy, grounding the nervous system. Mindfulness-based stress reduction MBSR, it stands for the therapeutic system developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn. And MBSR basically teaches how to manage stress and regulate emotions by tuning into the body and the present moment. Root chakra work brings you back to here and now. When your nervous system feels unsafe, everything feels like a threat. Grounding helps interrupt that panic loop. It says you are safe. You are supported. You are not alone. MBSR teaches that awareness isn't just thinking. It's feeling what's actually happening now without judgment. That kind of awareness regulates the vagus nerve, which calms your heart rate, breath, digestion. The vagus nerve runs through the base of the spine and right through the root chakra. Simple grounding practices like noticing your feet, feeling your breath, or holding your belly, they are the tools of MBSR. They don't solve your stress, though. They help your body remember there is no emergency in this moment. MBSR also helps with anxiety, PTSD, overthinking, because it slows your reactivity. When we are ungrounded, we respond to everything like it's a survival threat. When we ground, we gain space, and space equals choice. That's why root chakra work and MBSR go hand in hand. They both restore your sense of inner safety. We'll talk about MBSR in this as well as some of the other sessions too. You don't need the fancy meditation setup. Just start with what's already here. Your breath, your body, the floor beneath you. One of the main MBSR practices is the body scan, bringing awareness through each body part. It's a form of yogic pratyahara, turning the senses inward. And it's deeply regulating for the root. Grounding is also about rhythm. Walking slowly, eating slowly, breathing deeply. When you slow the body, the mind follows. These practices help dissolve chronic tension, and over time, that rewires your baseline state. So next time you feel overwhelmed or disassociated, try this. Place one hand on your belly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel the breath. Feel your feet. Say silently, I'm here now. And this moment is enough. Meditation is returning to the stream, as if tuning into certain radio station. That stream is there. Meditation is about becoming present, not peaceful. It's not about silencing thoughts, but changing your relationship to them. The root chakra gives meditation its anchor, so you don't float away. Most people struggle with meditation because they try to get somewhere. But meditation is not a destination. It's a stream you return to. The stream is already flowing underneath the noise. Your job is to sit and listen to that radio station. Root chakra meditation begins in the body. Feel your seat, gravity, and the earth holding you. You're not reaching for the sky. You're settling into your base. Breath is your guide. Not because it's mystical, but because it's always now. You don't have to force it. Just notice it. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Ground. When thoughts come up, don't fight them. Just notice them. Label them. This is just thinking. It's the clouds. They're passing. Come back to breath. That's the whole practice. The root chakra helps you notice what's underneath the thoughts. The tension in your belly, the fear in your hips, the heat in your legs. That's where meditation becomes real, when you stop ignoring your body. You can meditate sitting, standing, walking, or lying down. There is no one right posture. The right posture is one you can stay present in. The rooted meditation is about embodiment. The goal isn't to float away. It's to feel safe enough to stay. And if you get distracted, it's okay. The moment you notice it, you already returned. The stream is always there. Sometimes it's clear. Sometimes it's muddy. But it's always moving. And you are always allowed to return. A simple mantra you can use in root meditation is, I'm here. I'm safe. I'm enough. You might cry. You might feel nothing. You might feel deeply still. All of that is welcome. Meditation meets you where you are. Over time, meditation becomes less of a practice and more of a presence. The presence you carry into everything, into walking, into listening, into loving, into choosing. That's the gift of meditation from the root. Not escape, but return. To yourself. To your body. To this sacred moment. Ego is a patch of our pain. The ego often gets a bad reputation in spiritual circles. But the ego isn't your enemy. It's your protector. It forms in early life to keep you safe, accepted, in control. But the ego doesn't know how to update itself. So it keeps guarding wounds that no longer need protecting. It becomes a patch over pain. Root chakra work helps you feel the pain underneath the patch. You start to see where your confidence is actually just defense. Where your independence is actually just avoidance. Where your chill is actually a shutdown. This isn't about shame. It's about compassion. The ego only tries to protect the parts of you that didn't feel safe to be seen. But the cost of that protection is disconnection. Rooting helps you feel what the ego has been buffering. It says, I can feel this now. I'm not child anymore. I can handle it. That's the beginning of inner freedom. The ego says, don't feel that. It's too much. The root says, you're grounded now. You can stay with it. Ego shows up in control, defensiveness, pleasing, perfectionism, but always to protect a wound beneath. Real self-love isn't about silencing the ego, though. It's about listening to what it's been guarding and then choosing to respond differently. The ego fears change because it was built to survival, not growth. But when you ground into your body, you teach the ego a new truth. Change is safe now. Yoga is a tool to soften ego, soften its defenses gently. You don't need to kill your ego. You need to upgrade the system. And that begins by healing what lies beneath it. Root chakra work helps bring safety into your nervous system. So you don't need to live armored all the time. You start to live from your root, not your reaction. From your presence, not your performance. Let's do some yoga nidra, a journey to safety. Lie down in a comfortable position. Place a cushion under your knees if needed. Let your feet fall open, palms facing up. Let the earth hold you now. You've done enough. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in and exhale. Feel your body arrive. This is a journey of return. Return to the root. Return to safety. Return to the part of you that knows you are home in this body. Silently repeat. I'm safe. I'm here. I'm grounded. Let the words fall into your bones. We begin by moving awareness gently through the body, noticing, not changing, just being. Bring your awareness to your right hand, right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, back of the hand, palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, right chest, right side waist, right hip, thigh, right knee, shin, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Now the left side, left hand, thumb, fingers, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, left chest, left waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, ankle, heel, sole of the left foot, top of the left foot, toes, back body, back of the head, upper back, mid back, lower back, tailbone. Feel the back body sink into the ground. Front body, forehead, eyebrows, eyes, cheeks, jaw, lips, tongue, throat, collarbones, heart center, rib cage, belly, pelvis. Feel the whole body from crown to feet, held by gravity, held by breath, held by something deeper. Now bring your awareness to your breath, noticing it as it is. no control. Just feel the breath rise and fall. Breathe down into the pelvis, into the base of the spine, into the hips, into the legs. Let the breath become an anchor, an invisible root. Repeat silently. With every breath, I return to myself. Now imagine a warm, deep red glow at the base of your spine. It's not fire, it's earth. Dense, safe, steady. The ground is safe. It holds you. See roots growing down from your tailbone and pelvis, weaving into the earth below you. Through earth, rock, memory, time. These roots connect you to all who you come before. Ancestors, teachers, protectors. Not to repeat their stories, but to learn from them. To ground your own truth. Let these words move through your system like seeds in soil. You don't need to earn your place. You belong here. You are allowed to feel, to soften, to release what's heavy. You are safe to speak your truth. You are safe to be seen. You no longer need to protect what you've outgrown. You are held. You are supported. You are allowed to rest. Let these words ripple through yourselves. Now let go of the visuals. Let go of the breath. Just rest in this awareness. Not doing, not thinking, just being. Let your whole system recalibrate in silence for a minute or two. Bring awareness back to your body. To the surface beneath you. To the air around you. Begin to move your fingers, your toes. Turn your head side to side. Bend your knees gently and place your feet flat on the ground. When you're ready, roll to your side and slowly come out. Keep your eyes closed if possible. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Take a breath. We have returned to the spot of the root. You are there now to trust the ground that holds you. You remember that you are not the noise, you are the signal. Silently bow to your own courage and repeat one last time in your heart.